Okay, we need to talk about silver because it just did something absolutely wild. In a single day, the price went on a roller coaster ride that frankly left even seasoned traders with their jaws on the floor. So we're going to break down what happened, why it happened, and what it all means. Let's get right into it. So get this. On one particular Monday, the price of silver just exploded. It shot up and hit an intraday high of $83.62 an ounce. I mean, for a metal that usually plays second fiddle to gold, this was a massive, headline-grabbing moment. But, the story didn't end there. Not even close. Just as fast as it rocketed up, the price plunged right back down. And that left everyone asking the same question. Was that the peak? Or was that just a little taste of what's still to come? That volatility, that whiplash, that's what we're here to unpack. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with that absolutely wild day. Then we'll get into the perfect storm of factors that caused this whole thing. We'll look at the ripples it sent across other markets, cover some really important risks you need to know about, and finally, we'll talk about what to watch for next. So let's kick things off with that single crazy day. To really get the big picture, you first have to zoom in on the minute-by-minute action that got everyone talking. Just look at that gap. It's huge. The price hits that incredible 83.62 peak, but it just couldn't hold it. By the end of trading, it settled way back down in that $75 to $76 range. Now, a wild swing like this was made even crazier by something called thin trading. Basically, it was the end of the year, fewer people were trading, so every single buy or sell order had this massive, outsized impact on the price. And this is really important. Let's zoom out. This crazy day didn't just happen in a vacuum. It's part of a much, much bigger trend. Year to date, silver is up over 160%. So what we're seeing isn't just some random one-off spike. It's a super dramatic event inside a very powerful bull market. So, the big question is, why? Why is all this happening right now? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm. 3 powerful forces all hitting at the exact same time. Let's break each one down. First up, we have relentless industrial demand. See, silver isn't just for jewelry or coins. It's a critical, irreplaceable part of our modern world. I'm talking about the solar panels powering our homes, the semiconductors inside the phone you're probably holding, and all the complex electronics that make electric vehicles go. With the huge global push for green energy, demand from these sectors is just off the charts. It's a huge piece of this puzzle. Okay, driver number 2 is all about the supply side. Major world governments are making moves that are basically squeezing the available physical supply of silver. You've got China, who's scheduled export restrictions to start in January 2026. At the same time, the US has officially called silver a critical mineral. And the result? Well, it's pretty predictable. Smart manufacturers, they're not waiting. They're stockpiling the metal right now because they expect it's going to be much harder and more expensive to get later. And the third driver? That's just pure financial fuel. On top of all that real-world physical demand, you have a tidal wave of money pouring into silver-backed ETFs. You've got traders in the futures market making massive bets that prices are going to go higher. And this is all happening while the US dollar is getting weaker, which historically makes hard assets like silver way more attractive to investors all over the globe. Now, a move this big in one corner of the market never happens in isolation. Silver's incredible surge sent ripples across all of the precious metals. But maybe not in the way you'd think. Yeah, check this out. While silver was posting that insane year-to-date gain, its big brother, gold, was actually down a bit as investors took some profits off the table. And other industrial metals like palladium, they were down even more, over 9%. This really shows that the forces pushing silver right now are pretty unique and incredibly strong. And if you want the smoking gun for that physical supply squeeze, here it is. Buyers in Shanghai were willing to pay over $8 more per ounce for silver than the benchmark price in London. I mean, that huge of a difference, that premium, it tells you only one thing. People are scrambling to get their hands on the actual physical metal. Okay, so with all this excitement, it's absolutely crucial we take a step back and look at the risks here. Because let's be real, a market that can fly up this fast can also come crashing down just as quickly. First up is liquidity risk. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine trying to sell your house in a tiny town where there are only 2 or 3 potential buyers. It's going to be really hard to get a fair price, right? And any sale you make could totally tank the market value for everyone else. That's what thin trading is like. A lack of buyers and sellers just makes prices go haywire. Second, there's counterparty risk. This is a big one. Unless you're literally holding physical silver bars in a vault, you're trusting someone else. Whether you bought an ETF or a futures contract, you're holding a promise. And you're exposed to the risk that the institution on the other side of that promise might not be able to pay up if things go wrong. And finally, we have to talk about leverage risk. This is basically trading with borrowed money. It's rocket fuel. It can amplify your gains like crazy, sure, but it will amplify your losses just as fast, if not faster. In a market this volatile, even a small price drop can trigger what's called a margin call, and that can wipe out your entire investment in the blink of an eye. All right, so let's bring it all home. Where does the silver market go from here? Was that big pullback just the market catching its breath before the next big run-up? Or was that the top? Well, when you look at the fundamentals, they are still incredibly strong. This market is on track for its 5th straight year where demand is higher than supply. That core industrial demand from tech and green energy, that's not going anywhere. And all signs point to the big institutional players staying very active in this market for the next couple of years. Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The market has pulled back, it's consolidating, but with the demand for silver structurally rising and the physical supply getting tighter and tighter, is this just a pause? Is this the calm before another, even bigger storm? That's the billion-dollar question on every single trader's mind right now.